the pot. We know every card by heart. Oh, the curtain lights. This is it. We'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show. This is it.
Oh, that's us.
Oh.
On with the show. This is it. Yo, what is
We're
up?
back. We're back.
Right.
We're back. We're back. Did you miss us? Did you miss us? I missed me.
I'm sorry that we had to. I had to bail last week. Last week was a bear of a week. I
knew about it. You could share if you care to share. That's your business.
No need to get in a lot of detail because nobody cares. It's no big deal to those out there. But my dad, he's 90, and he had a little. He had a low. I mean, subterraneanly low sugar issue last early Monday morning, about 4:45. I hear, wham. I go upstairs and there he's laying on the floor between the bed and the dresser, and he's looking right through me. He's looking at me, but like right
glazed
through
over,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, and he can't. Dad, come on, you want to get up and back in bed? And the only thing I could even remotely make out was when he said, "I don't know," and he couldn't. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, did he have a stroke? What's going on here?"
Wow.
So I called after about 3-4 minutes of jerking around with trying to get him up, and I couldn't. I called the EMTs. Here, his sugar was down to like 46.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, it happens to my mother-in-law once in a while. She has that where it gets low, and she'll call Jamie, and she'll sound as if she's drunk, and then we'll jump in the car and start up on our way to go see her, and then 6 minutes later she'll call back. I'm sorry, I was low on my sugar. I had a Reese's peanut butter cup and a little glass of orange juice, and I'm
Reese's
fine.
peanut butter cup.
Well, you got to sugar up,
Yummy.
Well, I didn't. This is the first this has ever happened. So, at any rate, that was Monday and Tuesday in the hospital. Wednesday, I finally got him all straightened out. Of course, that's our night here. And I got a guy coming in 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, Tuesday, Thursday, 6 hours on Saturday. So, whew, I'm here. Yay.
Well, I'm glad you have someone coming in, though. That's important.
And Dad must have scraped himself on the carpet because he's got a rug burn like right up here in his forehead. So the other day he's like, "Yeah, this rug burn's getting better. The scab's getting better. So when that's gone, we can pretty much tell Sam we don't need him anymore." I'm like, "Oh no, we need him." "What do you mean?" I said, "He's coming. You need somebody here." Okay, not constantly, at least not yet.
Yeah.
But, you need somebody here. "Oh, okay. Can we afford this?" I'm like, "Dad, you're fine. Don't worry about it." So, yeah. Yay.
Well, I'm glad he's okay.
Well, that's the big thing. He's relatively, as a 90-year-old can be. He's fine. But we just have to watch. That's it.
Right.
Now we know. This is a new thing. So now we have to keep things in whatever perspective, and to make sure that he's sugared up a little bit before he heads to bed. Here, have a half a banana, have a little peanut butter, a little protein and some sugar, and then off you go. So that's how that's going to have to work.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that he is better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and he's 90.
That's it.
So it's like, you hate to say it, but this is
the meter's running.
The meter's running. There's a tick going on. And but you never know. My grandmother's like a superwoman. My grandmother's still ticking away.
Right. Yeah.
She's going to be 96 next month.
Well, I've got an uncle. He's 97. He'll be 98 here at the beginning of June. And up until very recently, he was very, very active, and I mean like Felix Unger active. Remember the old Odd Couple with Tony Rand?
I know.
He, again, I think I may have mentioned this, but he reminded me growing up of that Felix Unger played by Tony Randall character. Just neat, fastidious, but just eager to participate, to get involved, just a great guy. Richard
Dawson.
Richard C.
Simmons.
Stout.
Oh,
no.
Sorry.
Gary. No.
Sorry. Sorry.
But even him at 97, he's slowing down. He was like 92, 93 going on 60. Now he's 97 going on about 72. So, what are you going to do?
Hey, Rob Winter, if you're listening.
Rob Winter.
Call 609-807-2492. I got to talk to you about your little Facebook psycho babble. He's so Republican. You know what's so funny is this is the best thing, and you and I talk about this all the time because I am a Democrat, I am liberal, but there are things I disagree with.
Right.
I'm not that one who's like, yeah, I'm not that one, because when I disagree. I say, listen, that's a little.
Yeah, Tracy, me too.
Yeah, it's a little. Sometimes it's just too crazy for me. Listen. I have the beliefs, and my thing is always, and it'll always be this way. I always respect anybody's opinion. If you're a Republican and you voted for Trump and you love Trump and you want him back for another 4 years, that's your business. God bless you. Good for you. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is, are you a good person? Do you treat people well? Do you have a good heart? That's what I look for.
Well, and the other big thing lately is that Bozo O'Rourke is no longer involved.
Oh, oops. Sorry, scratch you.
Kidding, but he's not. But I get you. And you're right. We
I get
talked
it.
about this.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about.
I live on the other side of the fence. I come at it from the other way.
Right, but there's love there. And I've had, run-ins with our friend Mike over at the House of Hits. We didn't speak for like 6 months or something. I don't know. But that's because, Mike had an opinion, and I made the mistake of commenting on his Facebook page about something, and you don't do that. I just learned that the hard way, and we didn't speak for like 6 months. But I love Mike dearly, and I get, and he doesn't rant as much as he used to. Now Rob Winter's the Rob Winter's the ranter. Rob Winter's sometimes he'll post stuff. I go, Rob, come on, and I love Rob Winter. I love you, Rob Winter.
Okay, John, really?
Yeah, and Rob is. You can't get any more Republican than Rob Winter, and I get it. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. I love my troops. I love my vets. My grandfather was a veteran. I just got an amazing picture of him. I was going to put it on social media, but then I was like, I didn't know if my family's not a big social media family, so I was like, I don't know if I should put this up on Veterans Day. But my grandfather was a vet, and a picture that my grandmother had, I finally got a copy of it sent to me from my uncle. So it's a beautiful picture. I'll show you later.
Sure, no doubt.
So, Rob Winter is a vet, and, that's, a big thing. But sometimes Rob says things that drives me crazy, and I want to comment so bad. I do, but I don't, because I know I love Rob, and that's I said, I respect everybody's opinion. That's the way it is, whether I agree or disagree. But I'm dying to get his because he's posted it so many times now, like repeatedly. So this is the thing. And I know you're going to agree with them, but you are going to agree with them. Okay. I know you are, because it is a real... If you're a Republican, if I was a Republican and I read this,
okay,
I would say, oh, this is ridiculous. I would say that. I would get it. That's the weird thing. I get why Republicans hate this. I get it. But from a Democrat's point of view, I actually have a theory that I wanted to tell Rob Winter. Because
I hate not knowing what it is.
Yeah, so I'm about to tell you. I'll tell you now, but I know Rob's not, I don't know. I will have to text him or something, get him to call in.
In the car on my way. I cannot text and drive.
I know he can't, but hopefully, if you see him tomorrow, let him know we talked about him on the air if he doesn't call in.
We'll have to have him on again.
Yeah, and we'll get him to listen to this segment. But so he's posted a couple of times. So there is this thing, I think right now there's about maybe 5 or 6 states in the country right now are doing this, that they're allowing illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants to get driver's licenses.
Oh.
Now, I get it. Now, before everybody starts freaking out, like, that's crazy, they shouldn't even be here, what the I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm like, yeah, bring them all in, everybody. Woo! No, that's not me.
Not you. No, that is not you.
I'm not that person.
Here, sidebar for one moment.
Go ahead.
For one moment,
sidebar
but it pertains.
Sidebar it, baby.
The gentleman who comes in, back to Dad, who comes in and spends time with Dad and takes care of him during the week. His name is Sam. Okay, Sam is originally from Ghana. Okay,
Ooh.
Sam. My father said, "Hey, you know what? Sam likes to watch, the Fox News. He's a Republican." So when I saw him on Saturday, I quizzed him. I saw him the first day on Thursday, and I went to work. Saturday morning, I had some time to spend with him. And we're watching. I purposely put on Fox News. I don't normally watch it. Believe
knew
it or
that.
not.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just sometimes it's just enough.
Yeah,
okay?
it's
all
just-
of it, any of it. It's just
all bad
enough
news
already.
anyway.
Oh, please don't get me started on
It is.
that.
It's all bad
So
news.
I purposely put it on, and we got sitting there before Dad got up, and he mentioned about something. I said, "Sam, let me ask you a question." Sam's probably in his 60s. Sam, let me ask you a question. When you came from Ghana, did you just sort of sneak in here on the sly and hope that nothing got noticed, or how'd you do it? Oh no, I did the proper situation, and I this and I that. He went through the
Sure.
whole steps. I said, and now you're what? Oh, I'm a citizen. I've been a citizen for quite a while. I'm like, good for you.
How old is he?
Again, he's probably in his 60s,
Yeah.
late 50s,
So
early 60s.
that I'll caveat that. There's a reason. I'll tell you
Okay.
that because I know. Luckily, I know quite a bit about immigration law. I'm
Well, I would
pretty
imagine.
well versed in it.
I would imagine. So I even said, what do you think about Joe Bob from filling the country that he came from,
Right.
who's been running a business here for 30 years, and finally the authorities catch up with him through records, through this, through that, and they send him back. Well, he needs to go back and come in the right way. I'm like, okay, that's all I wanted to know. Now,
And I think they all think that. I don't think anybody thinks differently. Just keep that in mind.
okay.
Keep that in mind. I don't think any immigrants that are here illegally want to be here illegally. I just want you to know that. 100%. I can tell you that. Unless you're like, wait, before you say anything, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
When people come to this country, now I'm not talking about in the 1960s or even the 1970s or prior to that, because back then it was very easy to come here. It was very easy to come
Actually,
here.
there's 40 years from 25 to 65 where there was no immigration.
Right, exactly. And even in those times, there was no digital. So
No.
you're talking about paper,
Yeah.
phones and papers. There was no way to track that kind of thing. It was what it was. You actually, I'm not going to say the person's name, but you actually have someone who works with you who wasn't born in this country, and parents did not come over here legally, but this person was born actually not in this country. Did I say that already? I did.
Yeah.
The parents came over.
Really?
Yes. But now. They're legal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to say who it is on
Doesn't
the
matter.
air. But my point being is that that person lives a normal American life, but not American. But you wouldn't know it. But because the immigration happened in the late 60s, early 70s, that's when
Okay.
it happened.
There was nothing
So
digital
there was
then.
nothing really that, you know what I mean? There really wasn't. It was very,
Paper
very
files,
right.
paperwork.
It's not so. And the laws were very different. You have to understand this. The laws of today, most of the laws that are strict about immigration have only been implemented within the past, I'd say, 10 years.
I was going to say about a decade or so.
Yeah.
Well,
Prior to
and
that,
figure
go
it
ahead. Mm-hmm.
out. Figure 10 years ago in like 08, 09 is all of a sudden we were 10, 12 years into digital.
Correct.
And all of a sudden it was no longer an
Things-
experiment. It was
Right.
snapped
Right.
together and
Right.
here we go.
You ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I have not.
I want you to see that film. Very, very good film. Excellent film. Came out a while ago, but it follows the journey of a man who had a false identity.
Oh.
And it follows on how he did it. And he did it for many, 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 many years. The FBI actually followed him and found him finally after, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And he was caught and put in prison. And actually, he became an FBI informant for check fraud and stuff like that because he knew so much about it. And the things he used to do, he actually posed as a pilot, a doctor, a lawyer. He had no education.
Wow.
But all you had to do was copy. He would paste. He would cut and paste and then put in a photocopy and it would come out and it would look real. So he had diplomas. He had all these, educational things, and he would present them. And he got all these crazy jobs, and people were doing that. You could do it because there was no tracing of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, eventually it caught up with him because what he was doing is he was making checks. So he posed as a pilot, even though he didn't know how to fly.
Right.
And he never, right? And then he found a way. It's a very good movie, though. He found a way to get Pan Am checks. What he did is he found the logo on a plane, and then he got the logo off, and then he reproduced the logo and put it on these fake checks, and he was cashing the checks all over the country.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's such a good story. I mean, he does get. It is such a good. It's actually a Broadway show now. That's how good the story was. And Steven Spielberg did the film. Very good film.
I remember it. I just never saw it.
Yeah. So this was taking place. We're talking. This was, I think, late 50s, early 60s.
Wow.
So you have to understand. So all this. So while all these things are going on, right, pre-digital, you have hundreds of thousands of people coming in because they can. It's not. You know what I mean? And I think it was kind of like. We can do this because we can. Now, were they not supposed to? Absolutely.
Correct.
But you do, for example, I remember being in Niagara Falls, Canada, and my friend lived in Niagara Falls, USA, and we would cross the border all the time, and we didn't even have an ID.
Well, it was different.
This is in the 90s.
Yeah, oh yeah. This
90s.
in the early 90s.
Early
I
90s,
went
yes.
to Niagara Falls, my first wife and I, and it was just
little guy.
So what
are you doing
What are
here?
you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, we're going over there. We got a reservation to the hotel.
yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
And then on the way back, hey, okay, you claiming anything?
No.
I said, I bought a pair of swim shorts,
Yep.
so that's about it. Okay, see you, bye.
Exactly.
I mean, that was like 1991.
Right. So
Two?
you have to get a grip. So this is what people have to understand. It's almost like people don't realize that part of our culture that existed.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And if you lived in a country that had war, or you had a country, or in a country poverty or anything like that, and America is placed on this pedestal to people as this is where the dreams come true. This is where you come to make dreams come true. This is where you come to make money, success. Because they don't talk about that about Mexico or Guam or South Africa. They don't say that. They say America. So if you're a kid and you're growing up in these countries and they're saying go to America, and you can just go to America and not come back, then you're going to do it because you can.
Well, and again, now, fast forward
Yeah.
to 10, 15 years ago, and I truly believe that you're exactly right without probably completely realizing it, but this whole digital thing has shrunken
Correct.
the world. It literally
Correct.
has shrunken the world. I
Right.
can talk to people, communicate with people across the continent completely, just like that, or off the continent completely, just like that. Okay, my grandmother would be amazed. Again, she was one of the original, number please operators 100 and some years ago. Oh yeah,
Switchboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the, and she she was an operator
Yeah.
before, she had a whole gaggle of kids and all this, and she loved to communicate. She was a great communicator, but. Like you say, whether it was one thing or another, it was like, yeah, come on in, or just, they came in. When did that happen? Well, okay,
Right.
whatever. It was a different vibe.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, you have a whole new set of circumstances that have
Changed
burgeoned
it.
and opened up, unfolded,
Sure.
manifested themselves for the good, and conversely,
Sure.
for the not so good.
Sure.
I.e., vis-a-vis the dark web. Okay, There's
I have
all-
a friend.
You got more than one friend, I hope.
I have a friend
Okay,
who came to this country illegally, married someone just to marry them to get a green card,
of course.
then divorced him, then remarried someone actually for love, has broken the law several times and still lives here. Several times.
I mean,
but she's not Spanish
Here's the
or
thing.
Mexican or nothing. She's German. So but
is
isn't
she-
that
but
interesting?
Is she a nefarious character other than that little,
Not if I tell you what she got arrested for. You wouldn't think that. I actually was surprised she didn't get deported. I was like, how'd that happen?
But outside of even,
How'd that happen?
even a brush with the authorities,
Yeah.
is she, by a nefarious character,
Sorry.
do I mean is she somebody that, you, me, the government, society in general needs to look out for? They're dangerous.
No.
Okay. That's what I mean.
And but again, the majority of the undocumented immigrants are that.
Oh, I understand.
You got that small, yes, who are doing things illegal
Again,
and drugs and rape. Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to say it again.
Absolutely.
It's Chipper Pittman in third grade. That one kid in the class
Sure.
that ruins it for everybody else. Okay, it's that. I mean, here there's the story, and I believe it was Oklahoma. Don't chisel it in anything other than peanut butter. But there was a guy. He's about our age. I don't know, late 40s, early 50s. Give or take. And he's been in the country, I believe, from Mexico or one of the Central American countries. Matters not. for over 20 years, well over 20 years,
Right.
probably even banging on 30 years. Buddy and his family have a restaurant in whatever town it is that they ended up in. I think, again, Oklahoma. Well, long story short, the authorities caught up with him because of whatever, maybe, again, all this digital stuff snapping into place.
Digital.
And then they found it.
Digital, right?
Okay. And we gotta go get, Hector Lopez there at the, at the, Olathe, Kansas diner, or the Stillwater, Oklahoma diner. Well, he's the owner. Don't care if he's the owner. He's
Right.
been here for 30 years illegally.
Right.
And that, unfortunately, is and or should be the one word, and I pardon the pun here, not intentional, but it's the one word that trumps it all: illegally.
Right.
And that's the bitch of it, because there has been so much gray area.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, the technological ability is there to make it black or white.
Well, and I
And
just
the gray
don't.
is very, very
I
non-existent.
don't like that story.
don't like
Upsets
that
me.
either.
Upsets me, and especially they had the guy who had served for our country. He was a war vet,
Oh.
and they deported him because he was
see.
here illegally, but he served the country. Like so,
Something like that. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
That
don't
should
like
get,
that
to me, some
stuff.
special dispensation.
this is what
you
I'm
know?
saying is,
Or
like-
after a certain amount of time, dude, you're here.
I'm not all about the deportation unless you break a law.
Well-
yeah, you do some. I'm not. You're violent, drugs, things like that. I'm not. I think everyone who has shown good standing in this country should be able to have an interview and sit down and say, this is what's happened, and
I
this
was
is
gonna
why I
say,
was here, and this is what went wrong.
Like
And-
restaurant guy, maybe you round him. No, maybe
Yeah.
you round him up, but you bring him in and say, "Now listen, Jorge, here's the
You have a
here's the
clean
thing.
record."
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. On one hand, you've been kind of shading around for 20, 25, 30
Correct.
years. You know it. I know it.
Right.
We all know it.
Right.
Okay. That's the bitch. That's the bear. That's the problem.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, you've got a family. You've got a thriving business. You're contributing. You're paying taxes, which is how they
Yes.
found him, I believe.
Yep.
You're paying taxes on your business and your personal situation here in the country. So you know what? You're not some cartel
We'll put you on
guy.
You put them on a. What do you call it? Like a. What's the word I'm looking for? When someone gets out of jail, they're on
On a probation.
probation. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
But
You put
something
them on like a
that,
probation.
You're following my thought, because, okay, so here's
Right.
what we're going to do, Jorge. We're going to do this. We have, and this is not up for discussion, because if you want to discuss it, off you go.
Sure.
Okay?
This is
It's
what we're gonna do.
a 6-month program
Sure.
that you go to the Civic Center or to the Y,
Sure.
to the Methodist
Yep.
Church every Tuesday night from 7 till
Yep.
9, and you have a course, a class, and in 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, whatever the hell time it is, you gain the ability to get your citizenship, and here's
Yeah,
how.
I'm okay with that, and I think that's I think that's fine.
You get guy either is or thinks he is, or girl who is or thinks she is, cartel person.
That's different. Yeah, no. Yeah, I
You
agree.
got to go.
See, so
Bye.
what you think is what I think. And this is the interesting thing, as coming from different sides, I agree with you 100%. I think that's the way it should be. I think I'm all for keeping it out. I get that. But you have thousands and thousands here already.
Well, and you can't,
what are you
can't
doing?
unring the bell.
No, right.
You can't unring the bell. Now, you get restaurant guy in Oklahoma who's a good dude.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, his family is just, use my mother's word, they're crestfallen. They're in tears because they don't know when they're going to see him
Right.
next.
Right.
That's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But you get, you know,
Yeah, like a probation period, a probational period. I like that.
You know, he's all the time drunk. He's beating people up.
Yeah, no good.
Domestic
Rob,
violence.
no,
he's this,
bye.
he's that.
Yeah.
You know what,
No good.
Hector? It's been charming, but you got to go.
We have enough Americans doing that. We don't need.
or whatever the guy's name is, or
Yeah.
the woman's name is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No, I
okay?
agree with you.
I just use that because there's a lot of evidence of that, with a lot of that contingent that comes in. Not all, not even close to all.
no.
But again, it's that one kid who ruins it all
For
the rest of
everybody,
the
right?
class.
And so, that's what I say. It's exactly like there's a way that you could do if there was a way. So yes, so Trump
There
wants
is
to
a
keep
way.
Trump wants to keep people out. Do it. Do what you do. Build your wall. Do whatever you got to do.
Here's the thing.
That's okay.
From
but
this,
the people
from
that are
X point
here,
forward, right? You can't ring the bell. From
Yeah.
X point forward, this is the
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
From up to here, you gotta.
You need to be interviewed. You need to be background checked. You need to You need to have this, that, and this. What have you done since you've been? How have you contributed? Oh, you were volunteering in hospitals? Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, you gave to the war vets? Oh, that's amazing. You helped animals.
You serve your country. You have your own business. You do the thing. Again,
you're paying your taxes. That's what I'm saying.
That shade of gray to it gets to black or white. Okay, you got people who do that. Here's the program. It's going to take you X amount of times. Here's how you're going to do it. Here's when you're going to do it. Here's with whom you're going to do it. And here's going to be the outcome, how long it's going to take. With these other jerk-offs, you know what? You're on a bus. What time is it? 6:04. Right. Yeah, the 6:25 bus leaves in 19 minutes or whatever the hell time it is. Bye.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's the answer. And I don't understand. But then you got the people who are like, I don't give a crap. I don't care if they served. I don't care if they have children here. I don't care. They came illegally and that's it. They got to go by. And that angers me because I'm like, let's go back to your ancestors. Let's go back to your grandmother and your grandfather, me bringing up what I said before about the person you work with, because they didn't come from here, most of them. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. You have to look at the big picture. And I feel like a lot of people are so close-minded on both sides. On both sides.
And here's devil's advocate. Here it is. Okay, the people, your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, whenever they came into here, let's just say they got here turn of last century.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Now here's the thing. Back to what you just said. There were not all these rules, provisos, edicts, and so forth that you must.
Internet.
No technology.
No technology.
None.
Yeah.
Okay. It was all word of mouth,
stamp,
paperwork, and next.
A piece of paper.
So it was not that. Okay. So and not for anything, there was such a burgeoning of growth in many ways, and in many areas, from coast to coast, border to border, from sea to shining sea. Okay. Also, there were not, with that in mind, there were not 340 million people on the continent.
Sure.
There weren't.
Right.
So, like it or not, there was room. Okay.
Right.
There was room at the inn, so to speak, and there were many inns that had rooms, and if there weren't, guess what? You made your own room. Okay, because that's just how it was 100 years ago, 75 years ago, whatever. Okay. To quote, Thomas Gates from National Treasure, the status quo has changed.
The status quo has changed.
The status quo has changed, and that's no kidding, okay? The rules, the provisos, the edicts, the abilities, the opportunities, the technology, it is 180 degrees in diametrical opposition is what it was 50, 75, 100, and 100 some odd years ago, turn of last century. We live in a completely different world than we did 30 seconds ago, not to mention 120 years ago. Okay? So it's like almost like comparing apples and kumquats, okay, to a degree. The common denominator is they both, I think the kumquat grows on a tree, but the common denominator is they both grow on a tree, okay? But other than that, 1901 versus 2019.
Yes. Right.
Right. Again, apples and kumquats.
So,
okay?
and that as well, going back to what you're saying. Yeah,
just leave that be.
I don't think the people that are here want to be running around illegal. I don't think they want. I'm talking like the older, that generation where they're finding people from 20 years ago. I don't think those people want to be in that position.
Those people don't want to be.
They don't want to be.
The people who are younger, the people from those dopey caravans that did or didn't make it in, I don't. That was just a big to-do to me, but whatever. But the younger people, I don't know, put a number on it, 40 and younger, 35 and younger. I think their primary thing is to not be where they are.
Right. Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
It's never mind where I'm going, or it just happens to be Texas or California or New Mexico or Arizona. Okay. It's more about not being where they've been.
Right.
Because where they've been stinks on ice.
Right.
It's that simple. Which leads me back to what you said with people from this country, from that country, from whatever country, from Guam, South America, Germany, Liechtenstein, seeing America is the land of opportunity. It's been like that for forever.
And that's the way we built this country.
Thing.
Right.
But all things in moderation,
right,
so to speak. But then again, you can't Again, you can't unplay the game.
No, did
the
you
game's
see,
already been played.
I know you're not familiar with these reality shows, but there's a reality show, the Housewives of Beverly Hills, Housewives. There's a Housewives of New Jersey.
Yes.
But this is a very interesting thing, and I find this extremely interesting. So there is a couple that were on there. Their last name is Judice. They're the
North Jersey. Yeah.
North Jersey.
Yeah, she was in jail.
So they both were.
Yeah.
So they went in jail for tax evasion, laundering, and things of that nature. All money things, just hiding money and doing money things. So she went to jail for a little bit of time. She got out. She was in jail for like a year or something like that. He was in jail for like 6 years.
She's got a very
5
low
years.
hairline, I have to say.
Yeah, she's very low hairline. But so they have 4 children together, 4 girls, right? That were all born in this country. And Teresa is from this country, was born in this country. He, unfortunately, he was born in Italy. And, came over to this country, and, they got married and whatever, and they had the kids. Well, once he got convicted of this and paid his time, they deported him.
Oh, I did
for
not
good.
know that.
Yeah, he's gone. He was deported. And
Really?
I found that so, because the reason he was deported, and his daughter actually said this on the interview, that he never got his citizenship. He was here on a green card. He was here legally.
Yeah.
He was legal. But he never got an actual citizenship, which you can do that. You can live here and never get your citizenship. That's your choice. You can do that if you want. But as long as you have the proper paperwork to work, you're fine. But he never did that. So when he broke the law, they deported him, and now he's gone. He lives in Italy, and he's done. And and his kids were crying, and his wife was crying, and the kids were crying. And I felt so bad for those kids, and I thought to myself, I understand he broke the law really, really, really bad. And he went to jail for like a while. He was in jail for years. But I don't know if I agree with that deportation thing, especially when there's like all these kids. I don't know. I was kind of like freaked out a little by it. I thought
I'm on the fence about that. I have to tell
it's
you.
weird, right?
I don't agree with it, but I don't disagree with it.
It's
I
a
don't
weird,
know what to think.
Right, because he did something really bad. I mean, he broke the law.
And that's the
But
caveat,
he
I
didn't,
think,
didn't
maybe.
kill anybody.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. And not for nothing, but I mean, there's something like really, just because of the kids. I think that really, when I saw them crying, they're never going to see their daddy again. Unless they go to Italy.
Unless they go to Italy, I mean,
but
good news
when
is
you go to
it's,
Italy, not every day. It's not like visitation. It's weekly. It's going to be visitation once a year, maybe.
Here's
it's
either
weird.
overtly or covertly what may have been at play, because both the parents did time in the joint. Okay?
Correct.
And I remember that. Okay,
Yeah.
This is going back a few years now when that all hit the fan. And with that program, even though I don't watch it, I'm well aware of it.
Right.
Okay, well aware of it, and I've seen that Teresa Giudice on various programs before and since she's been out. Okay, and him too back then.
Right.
Clearly
Right.
not now, because he's
He's gone.
he's in Italy. But I don't wonder if again, overtly or covertly, it was like, okay, here are some people who are in the public eye, who a lot of people see. You know what? We're going to put this right up where everybody can see it. Be like, see what happened there? Don't do that. Because
Very
if
strange.
you do that,
Right. Look
this
what
is
happens
this
to
is
you
what
and your
happens.
kids. It was weird. I found it really strange. I just thought, well, that's like.
I mean, does the crime
really
fit the
weird.
punishment? I don't know that it does or doesn't. You know, it's I
But
I honestly don't know enough
kids.
about the specifics to really give you a thing. But I'm 50. I got to say, just based upon what we're just talking about, I'm 50.
You'll have to read about it. I'll send you an article about it. I'd love to see your perspective, because I found I was really uneasy about it, because once I saw those little girls crying.
How old are the kids?
They range from, the oldest is like 16, 17, and the youngest is like 9 years old, 8 years
Okay.
old. Yeah.
Okay.
They're little girls, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. I don't know. And I know he tried to appeal it, and he lost the appeal. And I don't know. It just, and because they're in the public eye, I don't think it's like, it's just something about it was very odd to me.
Well, and again, that may be
very
why
odd.
it went the way it went. Because listen, you know what? We're
trying to show.
We're tired of jerking.
Use
around.
them as an example. Use them as an
we're
example.
tired of jerking around.
Right.
You know, like Alice Cooper, no more Mr. Nice Guy, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, you do something dumb, you do something stupid, you do something highly illegal, whether it's one thing or another. Okay, this is how it's going to go. Now, all you people out there watching these characters, pay attention, because, you know, as they say in Italy, no fooling.
And I might agree with you right there, because remember I just talked previously about the person I know,
Right.
who is here, not a citizen, also.
Okay.
And broke the law.
Oh, by the way,
and was not deported.
Because we're going to get into that time of year. O.J. Simpson, not a Jew, just so
Yeah.
you know. But I digress. We'll get to that next month.
So yeah, it's just really strange.
I know, it's a heck of a thing. It's a heck of a thing.
I'm going to circle back because the thing about Rob Winter, and he was posting about the driver's license thing, and like I said, this is my take on that. There are a lot of immigrants, undocumented immigrants, that are driving and don't have licenses, and can pretty much crash and kill somebody. Who knows? But I don't think it's wrong to issue it to them, because if you read the whole article, because this is why I question Rob Winter. I'm like, did he even read this article? Because right away he's like, America, this is terrible, America, blah, blah, blah. I said, wait a second, Rob. Hold on a second. If you read it, it's actually a good thing, and I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because in order to get this license, they have to go through the government. It's not like they're like getting one on like in an alley. Like, here's a license. Here you go.
Like the Sesame Street
Here
guy.
you go.
Hey, come here.
Here's
You
a
want
license.
a license?
Yeah.
Shh. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's so. I was like, is he reading this article? Because what they're saying is that they're trying to prevent these people from driving these huge machines, which will kill people, right, illegally and without any kind of test or you have to learn how to drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Training, whatever.
Driver's
but then
ed.
also, it actually will say on the license that they're it'll say it. So if they break the law or they speed or anything, the cops will know. So it's also kind of a tracking system in a way as well. So I don't think it's a bad. I'm like, is he not seeing what I see? Like in my head, I was like, I get why people are like they shouldn't have licenses, and I get that side of it. But in my head, I'm like, don't you think it's better because they're here, right? And then you can kind of track them, right?
Let's put. Okay, you know me. I go
Devil's advocate. Go ahead.
I go both sides.
Go.
No. This is not even a devil's advocate.
okay.
I see both sides oftentimes. I'm a Libra with the scale.
Yes, the scale.
All right. Back to Italy for a minute. Okay.
Italy.
Couple, gentlemen, welcome to Italy. That was Sergeant Hulka, by the way.
Thank you.
Two folks from work, Bob and Andy, respectively, guys who I work with, they and their families this summer went to Italy on vacation.
Yeah.
Now, let's say I go to Italy with my family.
Right.
Okay, we go over and we fall in love with fill in the region, Tuscany. The Tuscany area I hear is really lovely. Okay.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, just because of how things matriculate, here, I come into some money and we're like, you know what? What do you say we live over there, I don't know, 5.5 months of the year? Learn the language, and so forth. Are you telling me that I can't get an Italian driver's license now? Because I'm from the United States of America? That doesn't
doesn't make
quite
sense.
right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what if I want to be, I don't know if they have Uber over there, let's just say they do. Let's say I want to be part of the Italian Uber, do some driving during the week, get myself a few bucks, a few lira here and there, and hey, forget about it, all right? You telling me I can't? Or even just, you tell me I can't drive to the store or to the pharmacy or to the ball game, whatever, to the train station because I want to go to Rome, but the train station is 10 miles away and the train goes to Rome. You tell me I can't drive? I bet you there's a way I could get a license over there. You think?
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
I don't know.
But I'm quite positive there's probably some way to do it. Same church, different pew.
Yeah.
You got Tarabash Muhammad from Egypt coming over here, wants to get himself around. All right? He's got family here, he's got friends here, and all of a sudden, I'm coming to America. Good for you, pal, man. He's doing it the right way. He's got the visa, the green card, the whole bit, and he's going to look into the citizenship and the whole thing if it works for him. But he's doing it the proper way. You telling me that he can't have a driver's license to get from here to there? Wherever here and or there is?
And just so you know, to get the That's another thing. Somebody commented under Rob's thing. Well, if they put so much effort into this, maybe they should try to be legal. But you know that it takes like a minimum now, like a minimum of 10 years.
I know.
It's not like it's like tomorrow.
I know.
So that's another reason.
It
That's
was never
another thing
immediate
that
to begin with.
No, but
A,
it was a lot.
but-
It was a lot quicker.
Two,
You
there's
could do it
lot
in like
more-
a
well,
year.
Because the world has gotten to be a nastier
Right.
place.
And things have changed.
Especially
Oh yeah.
over the last 20 years or so.
I don't think, but I think sometimes people speak out of their asses. Like I want people. You could be against it. I have no issue with that. But you need to educate yourself. You need to read the articles. You need to read the laws. You need to understand what's happening, because nothing pisses me off more than when I read these Facebook posts and they don't know what the F they're talking
Well,
about.
that's just
and,
it.
and that's why I was kind of like, I want to talk to Rob, because I said, I understand you're putting that up and you're freaking out. And it's like the fourth time you put it up on your Facebook. But if you read the article, it actually tells you that it's actually their way of tracking as well. It's not just, like I said, they're in an alley and you're like, psst, it's not that.
Man.
It's a way, and also it's a way you can monitor what's going on. Like, don't you want to know? They're here.
Yeah.
They're here.
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you're
I don't care
also
if they're here
putting
from
some
Egypt, from Guatemala, from
Right.
Saudi Arabia,
Right.
from Luxembourg,
Wherever.
from Denmark, from Belgium, from Belize. I don't care. Here's the bottom line, and it unfortunately can't be this simple as a process.
Right.
But the bottom line is, are you cool or you're a jerk off?
Right.
It's
Right.
as simple as that.
Right.
And that's basically whether it takes 1 month or 10 years.
Like,
that's what it boils down to.
Your daughter, Rob, just got her license. Would you feel better having someone driving behind her who's never driven a car before, but is just driving around and just like, woohoo, you know what I mean? Would you rather have that risk, or have someone who's driving beside her and may not be here legally, but if he does anything wrong in that machine and he gets pulled over, they know that he is an undocumented immigrant. They know that's where he is. They know who his name is, and you have to go through. You don't just give it. It's not just giving it. You have to go through a whole
There's a process,
process.
yeah.
There is a process. There's paperwork, and your picture. They take your picture and they write next to it undocumented. So, but at least then they've had the proper training. They're being tracked. People know they're in a government system now. I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't know why people are freaking out. I just don't get that. I'm like, what? What?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Are you reading?
I'm going to veer off a little
Go
bit
ahead.
because here's another thing that some people may reel at, and I might almost, maybe, kind of, somewhat be one of them, but I may not be. Okay, here now is another. What do we want to call it? Government agency that has to exist, that didn't exist previously. That's going to be suckling up to the governmental teat and just sucking it dry. Really? Because Tarbash or Hector or Wilhelm or whomever want to come to the States and hang out legally with their cards and their visas and drive. We didn't have to have all this, nonsense whenever. But then again, then it goes back, see, again, the yin and the yang, the scales. And it goes back to, but if we don't have these people doing this, whether it's the DMV or whatever,
Right.
okay, then these guys are running around willy-nilly. And you're right, with these people don't, and I've been guilty of it, I'll say so, but,
Yeah.
these people don't, get, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story, okay? When people don't get the rest of the story, it kind of makes it look dopey and stupid.
Right. And it's
okay?
just, I feel like Rob just like saw the headline
Well, that might
and was like,
be.
ah! But
Well,
it's
you know,
really,
one of my
it's a
favorite
good thing.
favorite TV characters ever, and you know this, was Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
Okay? Just for a lot of reasons, Carol O'Connor was brilliant. But you know what? When the son-in-law, Mike Stivic, the meathead, would go on his uber liberal rants, and Archie would be, oh, beautiful for spacious skies. But Archie, you got to realize, for amber waves of grain, America, because he's not
Spit a little
hearing
on
it.
that one. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
He's not hearing it, and I'm
Right.
not saying that the meathead was always right, but you know what? The character had some points, and so did Bunker
Right.
have his points. But to just shut it off, just nope, you see no evil.
Yeah, it's just it's extremely
Hear no
annoying to
evil.
me. It's extremely annoying, and
yeah.
I think that's why, I wanted Rob Winter on the phone, because I think if he looked at it in that perspective, he might have a different view because I don't think he really understood what they're trying to
He
say.
may not have. He may.
I mean, if he does, I mean, I don't get why he's so upset about it because, again, they end up being documented. It is documented. That's the whole point. You want to document. So then so if you break a law and you have one of those licenses, they find you.
Traced back
Like,
to
hello.
To, Info Central,
McFly.
so to speak. Yeah.
Hello.
Well,
So it drives me crazy.
That's
And
all
I
hypothetical now until we get him on the line here.
yeah, I
Talk
know. Because
about
I
it.
honestly, I know. I didn't get him. I thought I should have said something on his Facebook, but I didn't want to put any comments on that. I should have said call
Private
in the
message
radio
him.
station. I should have.
She's a PM.
Maybe I can. We still have half an hour. Maybe I can get him on the phone.
Yeah, see if he's, I don't know what his schedule is. I know he lives a good bit away from the house it hits down Tom's River Way somewhere.
Yeah, he would just have to call in.
I just
Come
need
on,
to
Rob.
find a place to park.
Somebody, I can't text him from my phone, but you don't have his. Do you have his number?
I don't have his
You
number.
probably don't. No.
I don't.
Oh, whatever. Anyway.
Phone's blown up with football crap.
So yeah, that was the main thing. But now I'm going to change the subject. We've been talking about it a long time.
Okay.
But another thing, and you're going to love this, and you're going to love
What have you
participating in
done?
this. Oh, I haven't done anything, but it's one of those things. Again, it goes back to the whole I'm liberal, but I'm really not kind of thing because and we've talked about this. I hate. Ooh, makes me crazy. I hate when, because of the climate today and these very liberal people who are saying, we don't like, racism, blah, 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 in pop culture, and then they just try to delete it and erase it. It makes me crazy. You saw my post, right, that I wrote about Disney? Did you comment on that?
I
on my
don't
Facebook?
remember.
It was yesterday, but you might have said something, but I makes me nuts. Because let me tell you something.
Oh, the old movies
Oh.
from before.
Yes.
It's a different. Again.
Drives me.
You can't unring the bell. You can't
No.
unmake the movie from the 30s
but
or
they're
the
doing,
40s.
that's what they're doing. Did you read the article?
But no, I didn't have a chance to, but
You
I know-
should have because it's upsetting
But I
for
know
me.
it's the whole thing to where, well, in the times in which we live, and all these messages that are being sent to our families and children are just, no, shut up.
The whole
okay?
point. This is the thing. Racism is there. It has existed. It was a lot more predominant back then than it is now. But you have to understand, these movies that were made in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, you're talking about a peak of racism. You're talking about, pre-Martin Luther King. I mean, this is so these cartoons that came out, of course they have racial overtone. Of course they do. Of course the crows in Dumbo come off as the three black guys hanging out in a jazz bar. I get it. And
Did you ever see Song of the South?
Oh, that's in that
Uncle
article.
Remus, I love that.
That's in the article. That's in the
movie.
article. Yeah.
Mother and Dad took me
Yeah.
to see that
That's in
when
the
I
article,
was a
too.
little boy, and I'm like, oh man, and all the wonderful.
Oh,
That's
you don't
what
even know.
Uncle Remus
That-
says. That's what Uncle Remus says, and it was just such a
Yeah,
freaking
doesn't
fun
matter.
movie.
No, it's making me mad. Don't even. I'm getting angrier as we're talking about it.
don't get
So this,
angry.
this in the Aristocats, one of my favorite
Oh, I
movies when
love
I was a
the
kid.
Aristocats.
There is a musical number, Siamese cats, because
Yeah.
they're Siamese,
Yeah.
but they said it's racially it's wrong. Oh no, there's more. Aladdin, wrong, racial.
Oh,
so
stop
what
it.
they've done, okay, and I don't blame Disney. I think this is the blame of society. They're deleting, erasing, rescripting anything that is of racist overtone, also sexual too, because they changed Toy Story, and I think we talked about that too. There's a part of Toy Story they
loud.
thought was too sexual, so they're changing them. Let's change them. Let's take that out. Let's put that in. Let's change
No.
the lyrics to this song. Let's
No.
and damn it, stop doing that. Don't do it. Do you understand that? When those things were made, that's what was happening in the world at that time. How are kids and the kids after that and the kids after that supposed to learn about what it used to be, and what we're not supposed to do, and how things have changed? How do you learn that if you try to delete it?
You don't.
I don't get that.
You don't.
I don't understand why people.
One of my most favorite animated series, of course, is the Looney Tunes, the Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Sure.
Okay, and there were several that were either eliminated out of rotation
Yes.
or edited. There's one in particular where Bugs Bunny he goes across the Mason-Dixon line, and he's in the South.
Oh,
okay?
sure.
And Yosemite Sam is a Civil War soldier, sergeant, whatever, and ooh, I hate rabbits. I mean, that whole bit. It's funny. It's typical Bugs and Yosemite Sam.
Right.
But at the end of it, it looks like Bugs is finally going to meet his demise because Sam gets him and he puts him in front of a firing squad.
Sure.
All right, you got any last wishes? He goes,
Oh, let me see that, Doc. I wish. Oh, I wish I were in the land of cotton. No times there
I
are
know.
not
forgotten. All of a sudden,
Yep.
there's a whole bunch of the soldiers turn into like a minstrel show.
Yep,
With the,
I remember that.
Look away, look away. Yeah, you want to know when they started taking that off the TV?
When?
When I was a kid.
Really?
Oh, around
thought-
here.
Oh,
Around
I
here
don't know.
on Channel 5, they used to run
Might
it
have been different.
every afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm going to say late 70s, mid to late 70s. He just cut it. He goes, I wish, oh, and then
Yeah.
done. They cut like the last 30 seconds of the episode right off. They don't even show it. Because somebody got offended because, back in the 1800s, people attended minstrel shows. Yeah? So what?
The whole thing is
So
that
what?
that was what it
How did that
was
affect
then.
you?
Now,
Did
now,
you attend
mind
minstrel
you,
shows?
you can't make a cartoon now and have that. I get that, but you can't take something that already. It's like you're trying to erase the past
Well,
and
it's like
pretend it never happened.
It's like these twits who we have to take down those statues of that Confederate soldier who was such a hero for 158 years, but all of a sudden in the last 3 weeks, he's a pariah. Take down the statue. Really? You're out of your damn mind.
Well, especially I get mad about the child stuff, like the Dr. Seuss stuff.
Oh, please don't give me stuff. Yeah, there's just it's cartoon.
This is my childhood, and that's what I'm saying. When I was
Next
reading
thing they're
this,
going to do is put the bad mouth on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer every year. I don't know how. Please don't. My God, please don't. But you know what I mean, Trace? They're gonna find something with
Right.
Frosty and with Rudolph.
oh, they already did. They did with
What?
Rudolph. Remember the last year they said about
No.
Rudolph? They did already. They tried to take it off the air. What was it? There's something in there. I
Come
can't remember.
on.
There was a whole article about it. I thought we talked about it. You know, Rudolph's my favorite, Christmas
I'm gonna
movie.
cry because that just is horrible.
But this is the thing: is that everything is a reflection of the times, and this is what I'm going to say. If you're going to do that to cartoons and stuff, why don't you do it to every single movie that's ever come out before that time? All the black and whites, and the thing
Al
about
Jolson, you're gonna
Al
erase all
Jolson.
the Al Jolson
Right.
movies? Really? Mammy.
The problem is that
Please.
how do you if you're a parent and a responsible parent and your child sees these things, it's your role as a parent to turn to your child and say, this is what it was in 1946 before mommy was born. Even this is when grandma was just born. I mean, you're talking a long this is the way it was. It's not like that anymore, little Joey, because
Well, how come? Well,
this is the
it
reason,
just-
blah 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 blah.
It's
right?
times have changed and everything.
Right.
Everything is different.
What's wrong with just teaching your kids why? So if it's not there, then how are you going to teach the kids like it existed? Are you going to? It makes no sense.
Here's the thing: you're not gonna put on the minstrel
Makes no
show
sense.
down at the NJ Pack or at the place in Red Bank. You're not gonna put a
makes
minstrel
no
show on. You're not gonna.
sense.
Okay, but let me tell you something.
Oh,
Probably,
so tired.
I don't know, 75 years ago they might have.
Sure,
Because
that's what it
what they
was.
did.
Like you
It
can't.
was what it was.
Right.
Okay.
And does that make me less
No.
liberal
No.
because I think that way?
It makes
Because
you
I'm sure there's
logical
people
is what it
that
makes you. It
disagree
makes you
with me.
logical.
I put it up on my Facebook and everyone agreed with me and and it's the way I worded it because this is the thing. I'm not saying
No.
that what happened, the things they did was good. What I'm saying is that it happened.
But here's the
It
thing.
existed.
But here's the thing. In that moment, back in that moment,
it
wasn't bad. It just
I don't think they thought
was.
anything. It
No,
was. It
it
was.
just
That's the
was.
word. It
This
was.
was the entertainment of
that
the day.
time, yes.
This is the depiction of the entertainment
Correct.
of that day. We are no longer in that day. which may or may not always be a good thing. There's a lot of things respective to race relations that I'm glad we're not on that day.
Sure.
Okay, but there are a ton of other things to where, man, it was just simpler. It was more genuine. People didn't get so freaking stupidly
offended so quickly
okay?
at things.
It's just, you know what? Again, back to Archie Bunker. There was an episode, I forget exactly when, but it was in the mid to late 70s. I'm going to say 75, 6 or 7, to where him and his lodge brothers, Barney Hefner and the other guys, and Archie, every year the lodge put on a show. Well, this year, guess what? They were doing a minstrel show.
Yep.
Okay, and I know what it was. It was Gloria was having the baby. Okay, his daughter was having the baby, and all of a sudden, like, Archie, Archie, he's having a baby, gotta go. So he, Bonnie there, I gotta go. The little girl is having a baby, don't you know? I gotta get out of here. And he showed up at the hospital with his wig with the kinky hair, with his black face on and the whole thing, not remembering. And people are looking at him like, not like offended, but like,
right.
Okay, they thought it was funny. This is 40, maybe 42, 44 years ago.
Correct.
Okay. Again, here it is again. The status quo has changed.
Yep.
Somebody even, you mentioned it, and I don't doubt that there's somebody out there as I'm saying this now, or potentially, like,
Oh, how could you even bring that up?
here's the thing. How could you not?
It existed.
It was.
It was. And
There's lots of things that were.
means past, by the way, not is.
No.
But was.
And again, you can't unring the bell.
No.
You
It
can't.
existed, and to me, it's like to change these cartoons and to erase songs and delete songs and change songs.
Listen,
I mean,
if you
these
don't want
cartoons
to broadcast them, then guess what?
don't.
But do not have them available for whomever who wants to see the uncut
original
versions. See the uncut version.
Like, I was like all mad. I was like, oh, they're
It's-
changing Aladdin?
it's-
Well,
it's-
I had the
it's a madman thing.
VHS, so I wish I didn't throw that out because I want the original. I want the one that I saw in the theaters. I want that one. I want the original Jungle Book. I want the original Aristocats. I want these things, the original Dumbo. I know.
Dumbo, man.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like, again,
And all
be
those
a
ones
parent.
all those ones too that they did that were a combination of live people and animation.
Sure.
Again, I go back to the song.
Mary
I sang with
Poppins?
Uncle Raymond. Please, Mary
yeah,
Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Was
I
a
love
lot
Mary
of fun. Love Dick Van Dyke
Poppins.
was great in
Yeah.
that movie. And so was Julie Andrews, and
But
so
that's-
were
this
the
is like-
Penguins and
Right.
everything.
But why change it? Like,
Don't.
just be a
Don't.
parent and go, this is what it was.
My
It's not what
teachers
it
are not supposed
is.
to be offended.
Your teacher's an idiot. Your
Well,
teacher's a freaking
I just
moron.
don't get it, and it's upsetting for me. I think it's really upsetting for me because I think that I wish I could go on a podium somewhere and make a speech about it. That's how upset I am.
It's
I
it can be
did
upsetting.
tweet about it. I mean, I did put it on my Twitter and I tagged like Disney and stuff. This is actually very funny. So Disney has a new streaming,
Right.
And they've been pushing the crap out of it.
They have.
But and they own everything now. I mean, Disney's like the most powerful thing. I'd say Amazon and Disney, the two most powerful companies in the
I won't
world.
disagree with that.
So Disney's been pushing the streaming channel, and the article that I had posted is about how the streaming channel has every Disney movie ever made
Right.
is now on the streaming channel, which is great. But they had to change, or they decided, I shouldn't say decided to change these segments, and that's why I posted
Ridiculous.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous.
and it's upsetting because I would love to like watch them all. To have them in one place, I think is fantastic. I think that's a great thing. But now, why do I would rather watch the originals. So I'll just go find like an old DVD somewhere
Yeah.
and watch it myself.
Here's the thing. This is not unlike, back when, for example, Howard Stern was on regular terrestrial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And all those groups, all the
Organization for the American Family, or the Christians United for Clean Broadcasting,
or whatever the hell
Right.
fakakta bullshit organizations were out there, would say, he's horrible. You need to not listen to that. Here's the thing. He was around here on 92.3 K-Rock. If you don't like Stern in the morning,
Turn
may
it
I
off.
suggest, back then, I suggest 102.7 WNEW or 95.5 WPLJ until he's done. Then tune back into freaking K-Rock. How about that?
It's like anything on TV. Turn it off. Turn
it
the
away.
channel.
Don't watch it. Don't listen to it. Don't
I don't watch things I don't
participate.
like.
Say again?
I don't watch things I don't like.
Don't. Why would you? Why would you?
Right.
But he needs to be off the air for all the decency of mankind. Let me tell you what. No, wrong, false. Okay, he had a shtick. He had a reason for everything he does or did. Okay, you people out there who reel against him had no idea. But those of us from the business kind of thought we had an idea, and we were right. There was a reason for everything he did back then.
Sure.
Whether it ticked people off or not.
He was honest.
You know what? Here's the thing. Don't participate. Don't
Turn it off.
participate. It's as simple as that. Same thing with these wonderful, lovely, unbelievably fantastic movies, cartoons, features, whatever you want to call them. You know what? You don't want to see the Bugs Bunny with the minstrel show living, if I was in a land of cotton. Then here's the thing. Don't watch. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't make Channel 5 have to cut it off with 30 seconds to go because somebody wrote in back in 1976 because they were slightly offended. Here's the thing, and I mean this as nicely as possible. Man, I don't give a crap about somebody who was offended. Don't watch it. Don't participate. It's that simple. You just said it. If there's something you don't like,
Turn it off.
don't do it.
Don't watch it.
Don't do it.
I don't.
Don't do it.
I don't like something. I turn the channel. That's usually what I do.
Simple as that. Simple as that. There were certain rides at an amusement park that look fantastic,
yeah.
but you know what? They don't appeal to me.
No,
Guess
I don't
what?
ride them.
Guess what?
I don't ride them.
I don't ride them.
I don't ride 'em.
Simple as that.
I can't go on the ones that go merry-go-round. I can't go on
I
merry-go-rounds
used
because
to
it makes me
love
vomit.
when I was a kid. I think I told you this. When I was a kid, a Great Adventure. I used to love the rotor. The rotor.
Oh, hell no.
Is a big
No,
giant.
I know what it is.
Well,
I vomited.
people maybe
I
don't.
vomited on it.
The Vomitron.
I vomited on it.
When I was in 6th grade, when I was 11 years old, John Denmark and I went on the thing 11 times in a row. It's the big barrel. It's probably 20 feet around.
Inside.
It goes round and around. You're up against the wall, and the G-forces are so powerful that they lower the floor by like 6 feet, and you're stuck to the
I'm going to
stuck to the
vomit
wall.
with you talking about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. But you know what? At 11 years old, it was a ball.
Sure.
John Denmark and I, we loved it. And we
John
rode
Denver?
it. John Denmark.
Oh.
Yeah, he not even related.
Yep.
Speaking of which, okay, he was my best good friend. And it was like salt and pepper, he and I. Black kid. Didn't care, didn't give a crap, didn't really see
Ebony
it.
and ivory.
Yeah. Living in perfect harmony.
Yes.
No kidding. Ha ha, but not really. But we rode that dude 11 times in a row. And we thought we were the stuff, man. Oh, my goodness. In your face. You see. And now, I tell you what, 55 years old, I'm with you. I won't get within 25
Hell
yards
no.
of it.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Vomity.
Okay. So guess what? There's something I don't
You
like.
made a choice.
If there's something I don't like, I don't do it.
Right.
If you don't like, the minstrel show references or the crows that look like three brothers doing whatever it was they did, don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Don't change it. Disney. But it's crazy because, I tag Disney, the Disney streaming, they have their own little thing on. And they're saying what I said about, don't change anything. And, they actually wrote back to me if I wanted a subscription to the channel.
Well, not for nothing.
Thanks.
I mean, why not? I mean,
it's upsetting. I'm upset about it. It's very,
it's akin to.
I'm going to cry.
How do I want to say? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You understand?
Here, to me, it's the same church, different pew. My favorite baseball player growing up, and I might shed a tear here because he really was, and I met him twice, once as a kid and once as a young adult. My favorite baseball player growing up was a gentleman by the name of Rusty Staub. Played for the Expos, by the way. Okay, but he played it several times with the Mets, who are my baseball team, good, bad, or indifferent. And I had a chance to meet him. I got his autograph when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I met him again at probably 25, 26 at his restaurant in New York. And he was a lovely guy. He was very nice to me both times, both as a kid and as a grown-up. I've got a picture of he and Dad and myself from that day back in, I think, 91 or 2, okay? When I first started working over here in 15, there was an incident where he had a health scare. I don't know if it was a heart attack or what, on a plane, and somebody revived him. And I was terribly upset to know that he was unwell. Within another year or two, he just passed, probably within the last 2 years or so. And I tell you what, that was a piece of my youth, whether it was my young youth or my 20-something-year-old youth, that to me I felt like was just ripped right out of my chest, just torn, just shattered right out of me. And I'm going to tell you, and not for long, but for enough to have it be as cathartic as can be, I cried like a little kid.
Yeah.
Because there's Rusty. He's gone. How the hell can Rusty be gone? You know, and he did some broadcasting through the years, and he sounded great, to me anyway. And now he's gone. I'm damn near to tears myself just thinking about it. This is like that in a way. You have all these things that are just day in the life stuff that 8 years old or 28 years old we saw, we participated with, and now whoever they are, is saying that it's no good, it's toxic, it's evil, it's bad.
Let me decide.
Exactly. Again, don't watch it.
Let me decide.
Let me watch what I want to watch.
Let me as an adult. And if you're concerned about the children, let the parents decide.
Exactly right.
If the parents don't want them to watch it,
then they don't.
They don't.
You know what?
If the parents, want them to watch it, but then want to explain why it is what it is, then you do that. I just don't get why you're going to start deleting shit.
It's
wrong.
It's a whole
it's wrong.
chicken rodeo. I mean, there's
So
some people
wrong.
like with like, for example, ear piercing. Okay, Jamie had a rule. You got to be 14. Period. Well, there were kids in second and third grade, in Amanda's class. Oh yeah, right or wrong, indifferent. It just was what it was. You got to be 14.
Oh, she's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jack. I don't know why.
No, Amanda.
Oh, okay.
Had to be, 14 years old.
Oh no, my mother got my ears pierced
for
me when I was
remember growing up.
Eight, I think.
Oh, speaking of 8, in third grade, Bess Terizzi, beautiful girl, she had pierced ears. She wore these little turquoise things all the time, and it looked great on her, but she was 8. Tell you what, that's how it worked in her household.
Yeah, it's different and different. It's like tattoos.
In our house, right. At our household, it was 14.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it. And that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Let the people figure out what the children can view, participate with, watch, whatever.
Right.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's like
Again.
tattoos.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You decide when you think your child should have a tattoo, then you can decide if you think your child should watch this cartoon or not. I mean, I don't. Why is
We
Disney?
signed off on one for Jack when he was 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a tattoo.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't some, skull with fire coming out of his eyeball sockets and all this. No, it's on his right shoulder blade. It's about yay so big. And the long story short is it's a tribute to his grandfather.
Oh,
it's
that's
a tribute
nice.
to his, to his pop.
That's
okay?
good. Pop.
Pop was Dale was a big golfer. So there's a golf tee, a golf ball, and a ribbon going around like so.
Nice.
With his born date and his death date, And it's not a little small tiny tattoo. It's about, it's about 4 or 5 inches
Yeah, but
high.
there's meaning to it. It's not like a drunken leprechaun.
And exactly.
That's what my ex had, a drunken leprechaun.
for
He
corn's
did.
sakes.
He did.
Wow.
Irish. And he was an alcoholic, so it was very fitting.
Wow.
He did. That was his first tattoo. It's a drunken leprechaun.
Well, now,
Legit.
Jack comes at 16 and says, "Hey, Dad, I want a drunken leprechaun." See, guess what, son? You're going to wait until you sign off at 18
Negative.
because I'm not. Your mother and I aren't doing that. And if your mother is, I'm not. Or if I am, she's not. Simple as that. Oh, this was different. Again, to each their own. Simple as that.
Right. So did you hear about Don Cherry?
Don Cherry.
The hockey announcer from Canada.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
he got fired.
What?
Did you hear about
Why?
that? Because he talked about immigrants, and that's why I was like, yeah, he did. He made
we're
some.
not
He made
1968 anymore, Dono.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you know what? And this is the thing about Don. See, and I was on Facebook about this too.
What team did he announce for? The name sounds so familiar.
Oh, he's been around forever. He's
Yeah.
84, so he announced for everybody. I mean, he's been announcing for all Canadian hockey. I mean, everyone. He used to be a hockey player years. But here's the thing that's funny. If you,
Here they
if
come,
you,
your Quebec Nordiques.
Oh, Nordiques, forgot about them. But the thing about Don Cherry is Don Cherry has always
Sorry. Don Cherry.
Don Cherry's always been surly. I don't know if you watch any of his footage.
He was a silly man.
He was a surly man. He was always surly, and he was always off color, and he was always a little bit on the edge. And the thing about it is, so he said something. He made on his broadcast. He said something about, you immigrants have it good since you've been here. I think he said something like that. He did. And they fired him for it. But here's the thing. So everyone went crazy. But I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what? If you know Don Cherry, if you've watched any of his footage, he's always been like that. He's very he always says off color. He's gotten in trouble for stuff before.
Right.
Never gotten fired. But because of the climate we're in, if he said that 5 years ago, he wouldn't have been fired.
Well, of course not.
It's because now we're in this weird, you can't say anything.
I did an Indian accent on the telephone, and I was suspended 2 days without pay.
Yeah,
you gotta be kidding me.
Well,
you can't do that. But
right.
that's how he talks.
This is how
and we
this
don't
is
care.
how
You can't do that.
Right.
Okay.
This is how we live now. So, but the thing about it is like everyone's saying he should have known better. Blah blah. I said, but he's 84. Like he's gonna be like what they should have done is just if they wanted him off, they should have retired him. They should have given him a retirement. He's 84.
Yeah.
Like they should have been like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's do this in a classy way. We're going to do a retirement for you, and it'll be really nice. You'll end on a good note. Don't let him end like that. I think that's effed up.
No, that's.
I don't think they should. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what he said, they should have. That's what they should have said. Listen, we don't want to fire you because we don't. How about we just say you're retiring? And anyways, he's 84. He would have been like on his like porch, like yelling at kids to get off his lawn. I mean, that's what he would have been doing anyway.
I'm 55 when I do that.
Yeah.
Hey, bing bong off my lawn.
He's definitely a curmudgeon already. I mean, so I just think it's so weird. Like it was like he said this and then he was terminated immediately. And I was like, he's 84. Nuts. He's been broadcasting hockey for like 50 years. I mean, give the guy a break. Just retire him. I don't understand. They made it now. It's such a big deal. It's like on every news.
Tracy, they wanted to get rid of him. That's the only.
Well, no, but that's okay because he is surly. He's always been kind of off color. It's okay they want to get rid of him, but to me, I just didn't like
the way they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have done it. Just been give us early. He's retiring early. It's not even early. 84.
84. You should have done 20
They
years
should have just
ago.
been like, we have announced that Don Cherry has retired, and then it would have been like, oh, okay. Even if you knew deep down inside that wasn't the reason, at least I just don't like that they were like, we're firing him, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like a big story. Like, shut up.
Well,
whatever. He's 84.
Somebody had to wave it around that we're politically correctly conscious.
Well,
so
but it's the pressure, and this goes back. That I bring that up because it's coming around Robin here. Goes back to the cartoons and the immigration, everything we're talking about. Everything is based on like social pressure, and everything's based on this is what people are saying. This is what's going on. Social media is killing us. Yeah. Because this kind of bullshit, like to me, I'm so against it. I'm so against this whole touchy-feely, like, oh my God, this is horrible, like, just, whatever. He said something, he probably shouldn't have said it. He said it on the air, and like talking about Howard Stern. He said a lot of racist stuff back in the day. Don't you remember? He said a lot of crazy stuff. But
again, you got to remember what the context was.
The context, right?
And then B, same thing with Don Cherry. You got to remember what the context
was. Remember they used to have "Wake up, white people." They used to have the KK, "Wake up, white people."
Daniel Carver, "Wake up, white people." Well, they don't have them on anymore because guess what? It's not. That's going to be a problem.
Right. And this is the thing is that I just felt like the way they went about it, the guy's 84. Let him just retire. I didn't understand that. I was like, am I missing something here? Like, I get it. He said something he shouldn't have said, but he always said stuff he shouldn't have said.
Wow.
But it's because now it's public. So what happened was the minute he said that, everybody goes to social media. And you're on Twitter and you're on Instagram and you're on Facebook and whatever, Snapchat, and you're like, fire him. And then the corporate people go, oh, we better fire him because everybody's saying it.
Well, there's 16 in the other news today. 16 people took to social media to demand Don Cherry's ouster from the Montreal Canadiens as broadcaster. People say that his recent outburst is just one of many, and the outcry was for his immediate departure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there were 28 people who got their butts all in a bind because they didn't like what he said.
Again, it's social media. This is why I think it's killing this country. It's killing this world. I just think it's just. I have no issue with the internet. I think the internet is beautiful. I think it's wonderful that we can communicate and things of that nature. I don't like the platforms. I wish that you could not start giving your crappy opinion on Facebook and Twitter and all those things. I just wish we couldn't do that. I have no issue with not saying a word. I can, and I do. But if someone said to me, you can't comment ever again, I'd probably live a happier life. Probably. Because I'd be bitching to you instead.
But here's the other side of that. Again, you can't unring that bell.
No, it's done. It's great.
It's always out there now.
It's just like I don't know. I just like I'm starting to get into that weird. I love social media. Like I love commenting on things, but I like commenting on like entertainment stuff. Like I don't like commenting on politics or religion. I just don't. I don't engage. I
had
I'm
my
done.
moment. You know, I had my moment about politics and so forth a few years ago. And you know what? For a variety of reasons, I'm by far and large over. When something gets to me, okay, I'll lob one out there. But what do you typically see me liking or reposting or posting?
You haven't been.
It's something funny.
You definitely,
it's something with cars that I like. It's something with the trains that I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's
sports.
You know, maybe some dogs and animals and cats or whatever that I find amusing or entertaining. It's sports. You know, my teams, whatever they may be. My team, the Monmouth Rage, by the way. You know, stuff like that. Once in a while, okay, AOC will do something dopey, and I'm sorry, it's funny. I have to laugh and repost it. But you know what? If I do that once every other month anymore, it's a lot. Okay.
I'm just sick of it.
It's
I'm
already.
I mean, I have a friend who isn't on any social media at all. Like none, nothing, zero.
Happy person.
Happy person, and he's completely oblivious to things. So I constantly like have to remind him. Like I go, oh, you know, this is that, and this is going on. Yeah, I don't know. And you know what? Ignorance can be bliss sometimes, because I feel like I really, when I open up Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, sometimes I'm just like, I really don't want it anymore. There are moments where I just go, maybe if I just deleted it. But the only thing that stops me is that I can communicate with my family through there, and I don't get a big. It'd be expensive to call, my family all the time. And also recently, and I think this is the amazing thing. So I started going through some old pictures, and I found all these old pictures of when I was growing up. And I had a best friend.
Oh, that footage from the Club MTV. We all
there's that too.
Around.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. That was all right. There she is on Club MTV, circa what, 1992?
Yes.
Very sparkly, I have to say.
Very sparkly. Do you like my blue sparkly? Like that?
Dancing around like, oh, my God, look at that.
But there was that. But so a friend of mine who I met, we were best friends when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And she was 9.
Nine.
And you know what's crazy is she actually was, she was a teen pregnancy before it was like on TV shows and stuff. Like she had a child at like 16. And she was the first girl I ever knew to get pregnant as a teenager. Now they made a TV show about it. Who knew? But, her child's like in her 30s now. It's so weird.
Wow.
But it's so weird. And so I was looking through all these pictures and I found them. And she's on social media. She's on Facebook. And we occasionally, hey, happy birthday type.
Of course.
So I copied all these pictures and sent them to her. All these pictures of us when we were kids and in the photo booth and 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. I sent them all to her and I said, you know what? You were my best friend growing up. And we never had a conversation. And I said, and then we started talking to each other. And it turns out she lives here in the United States. I didn't even know. I had no idea. She's from Canada. She lives here now. And we just realized that. I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even know you are like not that far from, well, she kind of is. She's kind of in the Midwest. But either way, I mean, I was like, I didn't know I can come see you and we could see each other. I haven't seen her in 30-something years. But that's why, to me, that's why I like social media, for that reason.
Well, and now,
that's beautiful.
That's how my two sisters, one in particular, got a hold of me.
Right, and that's beautiful. Beautiful.
That's
why I like it.
Actual siblings.
I like that.
Here again, okay, and I don't know exactly how to classify it, but a variation of all things in moderation. If you eat nothing but chocolate cake, you're going to be the size of a house very quickly and have very bad type 1 diabetes. Don't only have chocolate cake.
No.
But if you have a little sliver here and there, with a I don't know, a glass of milk, and after your dinner and all this, hey, okay. Same thing here with all this BS going on the Facebook, the My Face,
it's just like it's
the
too
snap,
much.
the snappers,
I don't like
it's
all
chat, whatever the thing.
Like,
I don't have any of them.
Like I want to say, shut the F up. Like I did. Like
Enough already.
I was on Twitter and we're talking about Walking Dead, a TV show. We're talking about a character, and this other girl chimed in, and she was like, "Oh, this is," and some guy comes in and goes, "We're not talking about that. We're talking about this." And I was like, "What?" what happened here? This nice little friendly conversation, this curmudgeon comes in and has something to say that is just like surly and rude. And I'm like, this is why I hate social media.
I know.
This is when I hate it, because I'm like, there was no reason for it. Just because when people use the platform to be mean, disrespectful, dishonest, disgusting, any of those things, this is when I hate it.
Self-centered.
Self-centered.
You
And
get the whole I, me, my bullshit without them
Yes.
coming out and saying it, but it's right there.
yes, and
It's,
you know what I
"Dig
saw?
me."
Yes.
No.
There was an article, and I actually, did I repost it? I don't know, but I'll have to show it to you. And it said that social media has creaed a generation of narcissists.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And not just from the LK company, by the way.
100%. Narcissists.
Yeah.
People taking selfies and then putting filters on them and putting little flowers and things and filters and things, and then you meet them in real life, they don't look anything like that.
No.
And I know a lot of people like that.
There's somebody
A lot.
Somebody who I encounter almost every day, who I classify as a bill of goods. You see X online, but when you see them in person, it's like, oh,
Oh, I have someone like that.
fuck.
I'm talking like 4 or 5 selfies a day, and doesn't look anything like that in real life. And then people, this is the narcissist. Filters, post, and then on the bottom it says, "Oh, you look so pretty.
beautiful.
You look so beautiful.
Stunning.
Oh, stunning. Oh, amazing. You look like a model." And then I'm like, "Have you even met this person?
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like that."
Nope. There's
I don't do
one
selfies.
who
Very rarely. 2 or 3 maybe I'll find. And to do that, it takes a lot. I'm not a big selfie person. I don't like selfies. I took one in New York because there was a whole crowd of people behind me, and I thought that was cool. But I'm
that's
like, I feel
different.
uncomfortable.
It's not here. You're
I
not-
feel uncomfortable.
You're not sitting at home and on the wall.
No. And people I was on the train, and people were taking selfies of themselves
No.
on the train, and there was a teen girl. She was like, click, 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 and then I saw her going through the filters. I saw her doing this. Her mother was sitting right next to her. Do you know that whole train ride, her and her mother didn't speak? She was just doing selfies of herself. She was like maybe 13,
No.
14 years old. Selfie, filter, post.
You know
And the
what?
mom was sitting there just looking at.
A few years ago, since
Mom.
I've had the Apple iPhone, and Jack had his smartphone as well, a few years ago, I got tickets, and we probably got to wrap
I
here
know.
shortly, but I got tickets,
a
long
story.
story short, for Christmas for he and I in February of the next year to go to a New York Knicks-Philadelphia 76ers game, okay? His team is the Lakers, but they weren't coming to town. They had already been to town, so I figured, hey, Jack, what do you think about a New York-Philly game? He goes, oh, that'll be great, okay? Now, that's when I was living down here in Lawrenceville. So we hit the Hamilton train station, okay, and took the train into Penn Station, which is downstairs in Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Ta-da! Okay, so it was about an hour and 20-minute ride because it was a local. It wasn't an express train.
I know.
It wasn't an express train.
Yeah.
And, again, I literally had this and he had his, okay? But we shot the breeze. We chewed the fat the whole way up.
Yes.
And you met him a little bit at that ball game a
Yes.
few years ago.
Yes.
He's, as a rule, he's not a talker.
He's quiet.
He's just not. He's not cut from his dad's bowl of cloth completely. But you get him started on something and that he's interested in, off he goes.
Yep.
And we had a great time.
See?
Not one of this. Not on the way home. It was late. We were
Killing the
tired.
relationship of the parents and the
That's
children.
what I'm
Make your
saying.
child put the phone down. I wanted to go up to her and say, "Can you just tell your daughter to put the phone down?" She was taking selfies for an hour.
Horrible.
An hour.
Not necessary.
From here to New York City.
Completely unnecessary.
Anyway.
So there it is.
It's a very good hour and a half of ranting.
I gotta tell
now
you what.
the next show, they're like talking a lot.
Well, our ranting gets raves. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right. Hey, 7:02, 2 after 7. We got a little late start. We got a little late finish, but so what?
So what?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
I'm still a rock star.
We are.
Yeah.
We both are. So until next time, I'm John,
I'm Tracy.
and this is Real Town. We'll catch you in Real Town. Gino, hit the music, please.
Let's see. Gina's not listening.
He's not late. Gino. Music,
Okay.
man. We're done. Come on, Ruben. Let's go. Oh, sorry.
Oh, oops.
What?
There it is.
Bye.
Bye.
Lights, this is it. The night of nights. heights. No more rehearsing and nursing apart. We know every card by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it. We'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show. This is it.